Rachie had been struggling to assimilate into Singapore's culture and to pick up Singlish. Luckily, she recently stumbled upon LearnLah, an app designed specifically to help international students assimilate into Singapore easier. She was excited to find an app that aimed to alleviate all the problems she was facing. After logging in, the most prominent thing she saw was a daily challenge, and she decided to check it out. It prompted her to complete a Singapore-themed model. How fun! After 3 tries, she finally got the correct answer: tapao. The app explained what it meant and gave insights and example on how the word is used. Rachie recalled the times she had heard the word tapao while ordering food and did not dare to clarify what the word meant. She was glad she finally understood what it meant and looked forward to using it the next time she wanted to take something on the go too. It also awarded her with Singa points, which could be redeemed for cultural experiences. Rachie saw this as an opportunity to experience Singapore and aimed to accumulate enough Singa points to experience different cultures of Singapore for free. When it was time for lunch, Rachie headed to Connex to buy something to eat. At Connex, Rachie came across an Indian food store that she had walked by many times before. She had always been intrigued by the cuisine and wanted to try it, but always felt intimidated and overwhelmed by the foreign words and dishes. She feared she would waste money if she ordered an unknown dish and she did not like it. However, now empowered by LearnLah, she felt more prepared to take on the unknown. She uses the translate feature to find out what the dishes on the menu are and how to pronounce them. It also showed pictures of the food, which helped Rachie get a better idea of what she was ordering. Rachie finally decides to order a prata with a teh tarik. She found herself appreciating the multiculturalism of Singapore compared to China. She was thrilled to be able to try authentic Indian cuisine right at her school, and she was glad she had LearnLah to help her overcome the language and cultural barriers. Battling the mid-afternoon food coma, Rachie decided to extend her break. However, she still wanted to do something productive. She wanted to learn more about Singapore's culture and stumbled upon Singa Battle. She could choose different aspects of Singapore culture she could play the quiz in and chose Guess the Dish, as she now knew what prata was. As she was still learning, she was unfamiliar with a lot of the dishes and ended up guessing them. She somehow won the battle and realized it exposed her to a lot of dishes she had heard her Singaporean friends talk about before. She thought many of the dishes, such as nasi lemak and laksa, looked delicious and made a mental note to try it soon. She looked forward to being able to relate with her friends more, as now she has a better understanding of what they were talking about and doesn't need to interrupt the conversations to clarify her doubts. Lately, Rachie had also felt increasingly isolated as she was disconnected from her friends in China and had not made many friends here. She felt that she did not have a social network to rely on. To address these issues, Rachie turned to LearnLah for the solution. She navigates to the Singa Social tab, where she can make friends with fellow international students. She found LearnLah's profile particularly interesting as she came from the same province as her. Moreover, LearnLah had been living in Singapore for 4 years, and Rachie felt she could lean on her for advice on how she assimilated into Singapore. They made plans for dinner, and when they met up, the connection was instant. Rachie vented to LearnLah about many of the challenges she was facing, such as differences in cultural norms and communication barriers. Having gone through the same thing, LearnLah was able to give invaluable advice on how to navigate these challenges of being an international student. Rachie felt extremely fortunate to stumble upon LearnLah, as it was able to help her assimilate into Singapore easier. It provided a platform to pick up Singlish faster, and also had many features to teach and experience Singapore culture. She felt less left out in social settings and felt empowered by LearnLah to step out of her comfort zone and interact with Singaporeans. Lastly, LearnLah also helped her build her own social network, making her feel less lonely and hence helping her feel homely in Singapore. She would definitely recommend LearnLah to her juniors who will be coming to Singapore to study.